let's get started with the intro. So I'm very, very pleased to welcome Noor today, Noor Bouzid, who's a neurodivergent coach. So I met Noor the first time in Singapore when she joined the Go Master Coach training certification. She was working in the insurance for an insurance company, but she really wanted to have an impact and to become a coach. And from the get-go, I should say that Noor radiated positivity and openness. And I know that people, like you can see Tika smiling and Lime, they can agree with me. And during the course, during the training, Noor shared her stories, she shared her values, and was incredibly open about her journey. And she left a lasting impression on everyone she interacted with. And she shared about her mission to help people, neurodivergent people. She's herself a neurodivergent person with ADHD. And we found it very, very interesting and inspiring. And myself, I didn't know much about it. And I was extremely curious because I've heard so many misconceptions, so many myths, so many cliché about neurodivergence. So I wanted to learn more, and many people wanted to learn more. So that's the reason why we decided to organize a first webinar a while ago on neurodivergence for children, focusing on children. And now we thought it was a good idea to also bring the conversation to the workplace because it's not yet properly understood. And we thought it would be a good idea to shift from stigma to opportunities. So here we are. Noor, welcome, and thank you again for taking the time to share your stories, your expertise, and to be with us today. So,
hello, everyone.
Over to you.
Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. Hi to everyone. Thank you, Geraldine, for introducing me to this beautiful, wonderful webinar. So where do we get it from? Let me share my screen, maybe, and then we can start from there. So, can you all see my screen?
Yes. Can you put it in full?
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome.
Here we go. Okay. So today we're going to talk about ADHD at work. But first, I just would like to share with you a little bit about me. I just summarized me in 10 words. So first and foremost, I'm just a simple, humble human. I'm a mom, I am a wife, I am a daughter, I'm a friend, I am a colleague. I have many hats, but I'm just a human, right? Like all of us. I am a neurodivergent coach. So basically, I help or not all the neurodivergent conditions, but basically I do coach families, athletes, entrepreneurs, whomever is feeling or dealing with a mindset that is just different, a brain that is just wired differently. And I help them to understand what do they have, and instead of trying to fix themselves, is really how to embrace their difference, because it's really a powerful and a differentiator in this world to be different. Yeah, we should not be ashamed to be different. We should be proud to be different. In my previous life, I was working in the corporate world, in the insurance company, many insurance companies, sorry. And I traveled across the world. I lived in many countries, many different markets. And it was a wonderful journey. I mean, hardships sometimes, but I learned a lot from all my corporate life. My passion is really about brain functioning since I was very young. I mean, you will find me reading books about brain. People say I'm crazy, but I like it. Wild photography, I'm very passionate about nature and animals. I love ninja spinzitzu. You will always find me with some of my little ninjas here. They follow me everywhere I go. I count everything. I don't know. It's a good habit, bad habit. I don't know, but I count everything every day. Whatever I do, I count. I exercise a lot. It's my outlet for my ADHD. I mean, a lot is really a lot. I love Maroon 5 as a group, and Lego. I am a big fan of Lego. So, yeah.
Thank you, Noor. And you exercise so much that you became a personal trainer yourself as well, huh?
Yes, I exercise a bit too much. But this is my only outlet for my ADHD. Otherwise, you will not find me here sitting quietly. Okay, here, just a little quote. I was proud of my little quote in this world, a lot of word quotes. I think what is really important about ADHD is really, for everyone, whomever typical, non-typical, we need to relearn how to appreciate and celebrate our differences rather than ranking them. We will go throughout the presentation why I said rather than ranking them, because I think that in our society, we tend to rank people. If you are different means that we are less, but this is not really true. Different doesn't mean less or better. Different just means different. Yeah.
Thank you, Noor. So I'm curious, Noor, when did you learn that you had ADHD?
Since I was very young, I knew that I was different. My parents told me always that I was different. I mean, I was different physically first. I'm very tall, very big. People that know me, like Géraldine, Tika, or Limay, I'm very big. I mean, I take space. Some people say it's too much. I always heard since I was growing up, I was always bigger than everyone else. Too much, too loud, too big, too fast, too everything. I grew up with this too much kind of word. And I noticed that I was different because I was constantly bouncing off the walls, non-stop moving, jumping here and there. Since I wake up, I was like constantly in motion. My family called me Duracell. I don't know if you know the battery Duracell. I don't know if it still exists. But my friends also, Duracell. I was non-stop, constantly moving. It was really terrible for everyone around me. I could not just sit in the classroom, in everywhere, wherever I go. Library was a disaster. So yeah, I knew that I was different also in my area of interest. I was some topics were really fascinating for me, and then I can spend like hours and days and months just going down, understanding the knowledge about that topic, like either be physics, maths, I don't know, like many others. And I just could not focus on topics that was not of my interest. I just switch off, basically.
Okay.
Yeah. And then basically my parents, coming from the medical field, they told me at some point in time that I had ADHD. So I grew up with that. But what I did like about my parents, that they helped me to embrace and accept my difference. And this has a lot to do with my self-confidence as of today. Because I doubted at some point in time, I think around university, I tried to fit in with other people and I could never fit in. I was constantly like not fitting in. It took me effort to fit in with odd, like let's say typical, neurotypical people. Mm-hmm. But my parents helped me a lot around that.
Thank you very much, Noor, for sharing. How, yeah.
Right.
Go ahead.
No, please go ahead.
No, please go.
Okay. I just wanted to share with you a little story. I mean, it's important to, I don't know who of you might feel he's ADHD or not, or suspecting kind of ADHD in the audience. I think it's important to, let's take this picture and imagine that some of you might wear eyeglasses like me to correct myopia or lack of vision. Just imagine, for people that have ADHD, you have to imagine that when we put those eyeglasses, like the world is so clear and bright and we feel good about it. We see everything, perfect picture, everything is clear. It gives you comfort, safety, emotional and also sensory safety. But if I add some, like what I put in the picture, if I add some rubber band on it, and then I ask you to see just through the cracks that are left, then somehow you will feel really discomfort again. You have to assume, you have to rely on other senses to imagine the world around you. And this costs you a lot of energy. This costs a lot of, how to say, kind of discomfort. For people that don't wear glasses, it's easy, you know, they wake up in the morning, they see the world bright and easy. But for people with ADHD, we have all this effort to make to accommodate society and to be able to see the world as the neurotypical see it. Yeah. So it's really important. I like this explanation for people that don't know what is ADHD, but at least maybe wear glasses, because it's like, it's tangible. You can feel what we are feeling. And in reality, we don't even have ADHD eyeglasses. So it's constantly for us, you know, overwhelming to fit in, to accommodate ourselves in order to be, how to say, kind of go through our days.
Thank you, Noor. That's an amazing analogy. And I think analogies are always the best idea, a good idea to explain concepts. And okay. So let me ask you, what is ADHD exactly?
So ADHD, maybe let me take one other slide. Okay, so a little bit of text here, but I just want to highlight this paradigm. Basically, paradigm is a framework to explain a complex concept. So some of you might have heard about the medical paradigm. Basically, it's attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. What does this mean in the medical framework? Basically, they said that any brain that is not typical is flawed. Flawed means that the kind of the responsibility is on the individual to fix himself in order to fit in the society. Okay, this is a bit too extreme, because then this brain basically difference is considered as a disorder. We have to prevent it, we have to treat it, to cure it, to fix it. You end up having medication, treatment, psychiatrist, psychologist, whatever, you name it, right? And it's an endless journey, and you don't feel that you will fit in, because medicine will just address basically the part of the condition, but will not address, for example, behavior, will not address emotions, so those type of things. On the other side, you have the neurodiversity paradigm. It's a bit more progressist, and in this basically framework, we accept that different in minds, difference of thinking, difference of learning are just a natural variation of humanity in order to survive in our world, in our world and in nature. Yeah, and this approach is a bit more progressist, because we need everything to how to say, you need differences, you need a combination of many different brains to make things work, to make a world grow, to make people move and society progress, right? And this approach is more progressist and more, how to say, also kind to people like me, where we have, they acknowledge that we can hyper-focus, we have authenticity, creativity, passion, energy. They realize that we have different type of strengths, rather than something to fix.
I just want to ask a question on this point precisely, Noor. In what way do you feel that ADHD has contributed to your strengths and unique perspectives in your professional life?
Okay. I just combine with some slides, huh?
Of course.
Okay. Okay, I like this slide. So here is all the untapped superpower of talents. I do believe that people like having ADHD or autism or dyslexia, whatever condition, we really have super strengths that are not exploited in corporate workplaces, in the society overall. So basically what really helped me, for example, I had a very good attention to detail. Back in my career, I was working as a senior investment manager. I had a lot of portfolio to manage, and some investment decisions, sometimes it's really important to have this attention to details in the figures that most of my team sometimes will miss on having, will miss on a number, will miss on a computation, and then it will create a lot of millions of loss. And this attention to detail, I will come back and come back and come back until I make sure that it's cleared. And this attention to detail, for example, is one of my strengths. I will not overlook on figures, for example. I have this, I'm very comfortable with figures. I will not overlook on figures. Another thing was part of my strength. I always, I was always in my career put on a greenfield exploration project. I was always sent in markets, remote markets, nobody want to go see, explore, open new markets. I was always like a trailblazer. I like whenever it's greenfield, my management was always counting on me to go there, dig deep, find out, organize everything, and then move on. So this is part of my strength, for example. I'm not afraid from something that is unknown.
Thank you.
And on top of that, empathy, authenticity. I mean, I'm true to myself. It's very hard sometimes. People might say I'm rude or I'm very like too spontaneous, but I found it as a strength because I stay really like I cannot mask my authenticity. Yeah, it's very hard.
Okay. Thank you very much, Noor. I've disrupted your flow.
No problem, no problem. Let's go again. No worries. I like when it's messy. I try to organize this deck. Okay, here, let's have a, okay, this is kind of ADHD brain. Okay, imagine it's an ADHD orchestra symphony. I love this picture. It's all about what happened in our brain. So imagine that you have an orchestra symphony, all those beautiful, wonderful musicians mastering their instrument, and you have the conductor at the center, right? So you need that conductor to lead all the musician in order to have a beautiful harmony and on your music, right? But if you don't have that, or the what we call the conductor of the symphony, then everybody will just be playing his own music, and then it would be just like chaotic, right? And in a nutshell, this is what happened in an ADHD brain. The executive function is the conductor of the orchestra. And what Thomas Brown say, he's a famous researcher on ADHD. He compared our executive function as the conductor of the orchestra. And for people with ADHD brain, they don't have a conductor. So sometimes all those basically functions that you see around the picture, like focus, memory, flexibility, activation and planning, emotions, self-monitoring and sensory, is like a bit of a mess sometimes because we don't have that conductor. Yeah, it's all flowing in. Sometimes it's harmony, sometimes it's not disharmony. And I like this analogy as well because it really depicts what happened in our brain.
Thank you, Noor. How do you coach someone with so when I look at this brain as a coach, I'm like, okay, how would I coach? So what would you do, Noor, to coach someone?
So usually when I coach people that have ADHD, I have what I call like a pyramid. It's like a Maslow pyramid, but for ADHD people, where we fix first, we try to have the foundation. What we call is ABC, the foundation, basically about nutrition and sleep. Okay. I try to make it really, the idea is really to peel off everything that can eat up our energy. So we go layer by layer. The sleep, first and foremost, the sleep. If you don't sleep well, you know that your day will be chaotic. The nutrition as well. If I eat a lot of sugar, it's going to be chaos. If I don't eat, I will forget to eat most of the time. It's not going to be good. So we try to address that first. Movement also. In my case, I need movement. So I always have like timers when I go for a movement, like I run or I walk or I do workout or I climb, whatever I do. It helped me to calm down and be less fidgety. After that, we address the emotions. It's really important for us to how to say, sensory and emotions go together. What people tend to forget in the workplaces is that, for example, lights are very bright and very aggressive. It takes a toll on me, for example, loud noises and bright lights. I just could not focus at all. The heat, the smell, some depending on each one of us, like people are different, but we might be sensitive to that. And this will drain my energy. Yeah. After that, for example, we have, of course, the planning, the self-monitoring, like how to organize ourselves. If we get bombarded by different requests here and there every day, Outlook, the boss come to your desk, and then the colleague come to your desk, you get crazy. I mean, I don't know how people can do this already, but we get distracted easily. And then we end up with, I don't know how many sticky notes, how many priorities, and you are lost, right? You are just lost in that overload of to-dos. So how to structure that, how to say no, how to set boundaries for people. Yeah. And then at the end, basically, by peeling off all that, how to say, that parts that can eat up your energy, you are able to concentrate on content and deep work at the end. But your energy is not drained in the first layers that I explained.
Wow, super interesting. So you have this really approach by layer where you will really explore the different aspects. So the physiological needs, sleep, nutrition. You will really focus on the energy, what takes energy and how to better manage that. Okay. And then you will focus on daily task habits and really audit and help your client better understand and find their ways to improve their energy management and optimize their time. Okay, and then you go to the deeper content. Okay, if I understand correctly, and you make this pyramid starting with the foundations and layer by layer, progressively and in a structured way, exploring.
Yes. And you
it,
can add the social part, huh? So we will see it in the challenges for workplaces.
Get it. I love this pyramid. It's super interesting.
Cool.
You can design one. It would be a good tool for a neurodivergent coach to have this.
Yeah, that would be cool. I can do that. Okay, here just a few data to understand. I'm sure that each one of you, wherever you are working, 1 out of 5 people in the world are neurodivergent. Huh? Could be autistic, dyslexia, dyscalculia, ADHD, and etc. So I'm sure that you met one of them working with you. Could be your boss, could be one of your team members, could be your colleague, your CFO, your CEO. You never know. And so basically, but maybe they don't tell you, right? Like the disclosure point is a big topic in ADHD communities, whether we disclose, we don't disclose. I think it's a really personal topic because right now, honestly, in corporate world, if you disclose, it might bounce back on you with some consequences, like you can lose promotion. It's the knowledge and the awareness in the corporate world is pretty low. But you can talk about it and raise awareness. It's not because you raise awareness that you officially disclose. But I would say like raising awareness is really important. And so the prevalence in adult population globally is 6.76%. I mean, those data are as of 2020. So just you can inflate them a bit by 2023. And the diagnosis rate among men and women, as you can see, like 5.4, 3.2. You might question why it's so low. The funny thing is that the ADHD assessment is made for children. It was never made for adults. And as now there is more and more adults that have ADHD, but they didn't have it when they were children. Basically, it's up to the medical world to start working on a proper assessment for adults. Yeah, that's why it's a bit like, I think that the numbers are pretty low.
But they might not reflect. Okay. And that's why your mission is so important, Noor, I think. And I'm so happy to see more and more people sharing about that. I think it's really important to bring this conversation into the workplace and to really make sure that there's not such a stigma and to really debunk the misconceptions around it to avoid biases.
A lot of biases in the corporate world. Let me go to the stigma slide. Hold on. Okay, the paradox of workplace. Okay, I like to call it the calamity of conformity. It was my whole life. Okay, so calamity of conformity. Basically, for ADHD people, we need to deal with all those things on a daily basis. Okay, so expect me every morning, like so many of my friends like this. You wake up in the morning, you have to go to the office. It takes you an effort already to talk to whom, whatever, like the boss, the colleague. You make effort. You need to, how to say, what I call social interaction. There is social codes, how to look in the eyes, how to sit still or look like immobile like this, how to have a neutral face. In my case, I move a lot. I'm very expressive. I cannot be like this. It's very hard for me. Social expectation, how to take turns when we talk. I talk a lot. It's very hard for me. Sometimes I even jump in the conversation. I stop people. People might think I'm rude. I'm not rude. I just, it's a social reading and understanding. And so all that already, it takes a layer of my energy. Sensory, as I mentioned before, I have to deal with the bright lights, with lots of noise, cold, warm, people talking, gossiping around, and that takes also energy. Discrimination, a lot of nasty words, a lot of naysay, bullying, exclusion from team meetings, exclusion from networking events, exclusion from strategic meetings. And this is hard because people question, right? When you grow up and you have a career, you become senior management, you become a leader, you question those things still, right? Why people exclude you, on what matter? I mean, and so on and so forth. Attention issue. What I mean with technology, we are bombarded by Outlook, we are bombarded by WhatsApp, we are bombarded by Slack, like non-stop, and this is super distracting. I don't know even how neurotypical they do it. Honestly, I mean, if you keep on spreading your energy in nitty-gritty stuff, how you are expected to focus and deliver value on important topics that need your brain, right? So I call it the calamity of conformity, because we are all supposed to fit into those codes and, code of conduct, guidelines, and sometimes it's just not set for everyone. Same.
Yeah, I love how you've structured it. I think it's very impactful, especially for people like me who are not really familiar with that. So understanding the invisible demands, discrimination, attention issues, and also what I was not aware at all is the impact on senses and how it impacts your energy. Yeah, thank you for that.
Sensory is a big one. If you work in open spaces, I assume many workplaces are working in open spaces, and this is really a nightmare. It's really not productive at all. It's not paying off for people and not paying off for organization. If you follow like Adam Grant, I just took some notes about what he mentioned. The funny thing about the open spaces. Hold on. Excuse me, just checking in my notes. What did I write this? Yeah, he said that open spaces are really bad for people and organization. 27% have more sick days. 14% lower cognitive, use my mess for lower cognitive attention, And mostly 80%, they don't collaborate anymore. People are not even looking for collaboration in open spaces.
Thank you, Noor.
I just wanted to ask if we can run the poll. Fong, can we run the poll about what the audience think? Do they think that people with ADHD are a strength for workplaces or rather like a liability? Thank you, Fong.
Thank you, Fong, by the way, for being here, having supported, prepared this workshop with Noor, and for everything you do. I can't see the poll, but I guess it's normal.
It's normal when you have two co-hosts. Yeah.
So basically, 75% think that it's an asset. Nobody think that it's a liability, and 24% think, I don't know. So yeah, good. It's definitely an asset for the company. Hold on, let me end the poll. Share it here. Oopsie. Okay. Okay, I can share with you. Okay, I just put here green the stigma. For me, it's really important to green the stigma. Excuse me, I'm blocked with the poll. Here. Just back quickly on the green the stigma. People with ADHD, they have to deal constantly with shame, guilt, feeling not belonging at all. Many people think they joke about ADHD and any neurodivergent condition anyway. Like, oh yeah, nowadays everyone is having ADHD. I have it too. You know, like those type of comments. You know, at the coffee break or what, like, oh yeah, me too. I'm very hyper. They don't know. I mean, really, they don't know what it means. Unfortunately, many people lose promotions just having their condition, and I've had it really unfair. Social rejection by peers. You are not included for lunch. You are not included for meetings. You are not included for networking. And that's really, yeah, not nice. Low self-esteem because people start masking. People start just doing low profile. They will not show up. They will not be productive. They will not offer their help. And this is not what really we are looking for in workplaces. It ends up in job termination, depression, or totally withdrawal. And nobody deserves that. Just, you know, at the end for going to work and earn your life and make some friends and just like contribute overall to company purpose and, you know, and build your career. So this is as bad as it can get. And the list is bigger, but I just put like this. That's why I always say green the stigma. It's up to you to let them, how to say, flow into you or really kind of reject them and play on your strength. Easy for me to say this after almost 20 years of work in the corporate, but when I was younger, of course, I mean, all this took place and it was not really nice. But slowly I played on my strength and I shifted my mindset to just ignore all this because it keeps on continuing anyway. So.
Okay, so your advice would be what would be your advice to someone entering the workplace?
Really smash the stigma. I mean, just smash it, grind it, whatever. I mean, just minimize it as much as you can. If it becomes a bigger voice in your mind, instead of focusing on playing on your strength, it will cost you anyway your energy, and you cannot change those people. It's like in any wedding, you will always have someone that is not happy. Whatever you do with your menu, with your dress, with your music, there is someone always complaining. So you have to choose where you put your energy, you know?
Yeah, okay. So definitely, okay. That's a good tip. And also, I guess, being helped with a coach as well could definitely help. And I think it's also a collective responsibility for us to bring the conversation into the workplace, whoever we are, whatever our roles are. Okay. Have you seen some environments, corporate environments, that are more conducive than others? What does it look like?
Okay, let me share with you. here. Okay. I like this book. I don't know if some of you read this book, Neurotribes by Steve Zilberman. So he talked about more autistic and also ADHD people. And he went to Silicon Valley to explore why Silicon Valley was so successful, why Silicon Valley was so like everybody wants to work in the Silicon Valley. And what he found out is basically what we call nerds or geeks. Many of them are neurodivergent, and many of them, they lack social graces. They are just in their shoes, in their world, they're working, they're passionate about what they're doing. And the many companies in the Silicon Valley just set up the right environment for those people to thrive. And this pays off, right? Basically, everyone heard at least maybe about Silicon Valley. And the companies like Google, and the likes, they are very proud because they include those neurodiverse people. They understood that it's a real asset to think differently, and they basically embrace their differences and they accommodate them. They set them the right office environment, the right, if you want to work outside, you work outside. If you just want to work by being totally constantly running, you run. If you want to stand and think and work, just like no need a desk, just please feel free to do. And those type of things, like also with assistive technology, they're equipped with many tools that help them. Like for people with dyslexia, for example, it's not easy. For people with dyscalculia, it's not easy. And nowadays we have a lot of technology tools that can help us make our life easier. But not everyone is able to read properly. Yeah, not everyone is able to take notes properly. Yeah, so, and we have thanks God with technology, we can be equipped with some companions that can help us just play on our strength again, instead of, basically keep on writing with your left hand your whole life.
Okay, so if I understand correctly, it's about accommodating a physical space where you can work, helping people find their best way to work, equipping them with the tools, right? So that's what could corporate do, right, for neurodivergent people.
Yes, correct. It's not only about basically logistics and accommodation, it's also about the mindset.
Yes, okay.
Not being judged constantly, or not being question why your approach to certain topic is like this. We just see topics differently. Many autistic and ADHD people are very good. They have outstanding performance in terms of complex problem solving. So why we will always take the typical route of solving problems? Maybe we can approach it and accept to approach it with a different mindset. Okay. Same for thinking out of the box, innovation, creativity, and many others. And the second year, of course, the sport legends, the sport industry is full of neurodiverse people, higher than the normal average population. And of course, they thrive because maybe they have a different setup, right? Like they challenge their body, and they have more dopamine. In the case of, dopamine is very good for ADHD, and they get a lot of dopamine boost, which help them also, I think, to regulate and be more quiet.
Thank you, Noor. Should I let you go? Yeah, with your flow that I've disrupted.
Okay. No problem. Just moving to the last part. Okay, how to be a happy fish in a forest. Okay, forest is the workspaces, okay? I hope many of you relate to this picture. This is offices, open spaces, whatever you call it. And unfortunately, until today, this is how the work look like. Basically, we are just all asked to be, basically, the funny thing in the workplaces, they hire people for innovation and thinking out of the box. Then they ask them to leave their difference at home and to stick to those lines. So it's not really fun. But anyway, so basically, it's how to be a happy ADHD fish in a forest. Okay. And I think the most important, first and foremost, is really to normalize, talk about it. You can be your champion in your office, in your team. You can just raise awareness. You don't have to disclose it. You say, hey guys, I mean, let's talk about this. Let's open up about this. And you will be really surprised how many people around you will support you, will open up. Many of them might be having a different mind or different, like thinking or learning difference. And speaking up about it will make closer, how to say, will create openness about the topic, and it will always be appreciated. Whatever you lift the taboo, it's always appreciated. Build your neuro tribe. You can do lunch and learn. You can reach out to your HR. You say, look, guys, I want to do something like a neuro tribe. I want to talk about this. This topic matters. Let's team up and do something about it. Nobody will say no to this. It's your own initiative, and it will be most welcome. And what I mean with quick wins, so basically you can share basic knowledge about it. If you read a book, you want to share it, share around your community. I mean, your colleagues, your peers, maybe not your boss, I don't know. Depends how open he or she is. But just speak up about it. Speak up, advocate for it, talk about it, share with the people around you, and you will see people will open up, and you will see how many people are different actually. And this is the good side of normalizing ADHD. So this one is about really awareness and talking, just talking about it. Okay, amplify your strength. I like this picture because this is how much you can do with just simple, just by thinking that you have your strength within you. Amplify your strength means that first you embrace your difference. You know that you are different, or you get diagnosed with ADHD. Embrace that difference. It's really, really freeing to know that you are different. It's not a shame. It doesn't mean that you are less. It's not about ranking. You are just different. That's it. Don't overthink it. And then once you know that, just play on your strength. Just play on your strength. Don't play on your weaknesses. If you open that cracks, everybody will get into that, and then you will go like a vicious circle. You will just like feel awkward, feel different, try to fix. It will not be fixed because it's how you are, right? So play on your strength, find your strength. If you are creative, if you are like find detailed processing, if you love numbers, if you are able to do like some people are verbalizers, some people are visualizers. Some people work with images, some people work with words, some people work with numbers. Find what's your strength and go into that. Find the job that fits that, and it will be much more easier.
Thank you very much, Noor. I can see lots of great skills for coaches and for coaching, right? When you look at this list, huh? And also just my thought when I see this list, it's also, I think the way you coach, you can really leverage many of those strengths when you coach a neurodivergent person. Using pattern recognition, using visualization could be powerful as well, and hyper focus as well. And it's very interesting. Thank you.
Welcome. It's just about finding what are your strengths. I mean, the list is not exhaustive, of course. I mean, many other strengths out there, but just find your strength. If you are more about, like in my case, I work a lot with images and numbers. So I try always to fit my job and my career move with images or numbers. I would not go to something else. Yeah. And this is how I made progress, and I had a successful career. Experimental also is one of my strengths. I like to go greenfield topics, projects, markets, countries, whatever is new, I'm in. And at some point in time, my management just knew, they just threw me on everything new, and they know that I'm gonna understand it, map it, and bring it back. So yeah, this one is really important, I think, rather than spending time on focusing on the negative, I would say. Focus on the positive.
So
Because your positive is really, really positive. It's not the average positive, it's the big positive.
okay, that's interesting.
And the last one, I would say, accommodate your shortfalls. Back to the energy management. So this is a nice, how to say, this is a nice slide. I like it because it shows that most of ADHD adults are struggling with distractibility, time management, disorganization, working memory, and boredom. And so basically, if you address those, I mean, I can send a list of tips, of course. I mean, I didn't nail it down here, but I'm happy to share after the webinar if people are interested. But basically, having a time management, I can show you. I like this. Okay, this is my this is my mood board kind of. Okay, this is my alarm. I just took a screenshot this morning. My alarm goes like this for 100 alarm. I have alarm for everything. It's not crazy. This is how I live. Some people maybe here might have the same alarms. The lady with the sticky note jacket, I love her, is like me every day with all my sticky notes. I go for plain color. Some people mix the colors. And I like the little picture here because it shows maybe we have invisible illness. I don't like illness, invisible illness. But this is how it looks if someone is in the water and drawing in the water. So time management is, again, everything. Many tools out there can help. I just come back to this one. Disorganization, we get easily distracted. How to learn to focus, put back everything that is not important. Boredom, yes. Boredom is something very big in ADHD, with ADHD people. How to fight boredom or to reduce boredom. And distractibility is something that also we have a lot of tools, we have a lot of methods. So I'm happy to help if someone is interested. I'm happy to have a call and we see how I can help you. It's really a lot about, I would say, training your brain and learning kind of techniques. And by the time you address all this, you marshal all your energy on your strength. And there is no reason why you cannot be really successful.
Thank you, Noor. That's very clear. So it's really about developing the system that would fit your need and having a very clear system in place that will help you focus on what you're really good at and use your strengths. So it's really a strengths-based approach, and okay, very clear.
I like the quote from Kurt Cobain. They laugh at me because I'm different. I laugh at them because they're all the same. So same is lame. This is what I want to, this is my key takeaway in my life. I share it with you. Same is really lame. Enjoy yourself being different. It's just more, it's more fun. No, but I do agree. You have two ways of thinking about it and approaching it. If you focus on the negative, it will drain you. If you focus on the positive, it will really let you will become outstanding in the workplace, in your career, because you are playing on your strength again. It's something that doesn't cost you a lot of effort. And for ADHD brains, what is cost us a lot is just to start that task, is to start to reaching there. We have a lot of effort to do to compensate because society, rules, social interactions are asking us to fit that rules. And that is the thing that costs your energy.
Thank you, Noor.
Welcome.
All right, so we have just 5 minutes left. So we have some questions coming, so maybe we can take some. Noor, is there any other points that you really want to cover before we take the questions?
No, all good. Maybe just if someone can share with us if you can share with us your key takeaway from the webinar, would be super helpful for me.
Yes, that's a very good point. So let's please share the key takeaways, and we might want to take some questions. I do have a hard stop in 5 minutes, but you can stay and keep on discussing about, answering questions. Please share your key takeaways here. It's very important for us to understand what was useful for you. What are the key points? What are you living with? Yes. And the key message really here is really to be the ambassadors, to share about it, to share, to bring that to the workplace, to start conversation around it, to organize lunch and learn around this topic, because we talk a lot about diversity, equity, inclusion, but is this topic really discussed? Not that I know. So I think it's really, really important to spread the word, to discuss about it, to invite people like Noor, to share our expertise, to share our story, to share tips, and to help bring this topic more, and also to develop coaching around it. Coaching is definitely an amazing way to support neurodivergent individuals by helping them find the right way, the customized way to thrive and to use their superpowers, as you mentioned, Noor. So we have some questions. Maybe we can start taking questions. I'm going to go in 2 minutes. Sorry. But I'd love to thank you, Noor. Thank you so much for all your sharing. It was really insightful. As usual, thank you, Fong, as well, for organizing everything. So I'll let you pick the questions, Noor.
Yes. So many requested to share the slides, to share some tools. I will do this after the... please feel free to reach out. I will just put here, feel free to reach out to me if you need any specific tools, or to discuss even in a free discovery call. I'm happy to share with you any resources. I see Svati that is asking about some materials, so I'm happy to share that. I don't see any questions so far.
I think there was some, but I think the point, there will be follow-up. You can please connect with Noor, follow up, and ask for more tools, more applications. This is the beginning of a bigger conversation that we have initiated, really to bring awareness, more awareness, and to spread the word.
Just Mike is having a question. Is there any effective way to practice grounding with coaches with ADHD, given the short attention span at times? Yes, sure. There are many techniques. I'm happy to share with you, Mike, maybe in a separate call, because I do have to jump on another call as well. But I'm happy to share with you. If just feel free to reach out to me. But yes, of course, there are. You can. It's a lot about. I think it's a lot about training. I had no attention span at all. I mean, I was really struggling when I entered the corporate world. And slowly I built up, and then I managed to increase slowly. So it's like really, I would say it's a lot of rewiring, a lot of training your brain, but you have good tools. I have very good, powerful tools. I'm happy to discuss and share with you. So please feel free to reach out. Here, let me check. Any other questions? Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Svati. Okay. Oh, are you seeing a shift in the workplace in relation to D and E and Y? Steve, very interesting. I think, no, I'm sorry, I don't see anything. I mean, there are still, I think, many workplaces are still confused between disability and diversity. So it's a long shot. I think for me, neurodiversity, the biggest cost for workplaces will be on the HR processes and the HR side. where they have to basically because the way the HR processes are made is really to batch, like for example, hiring process. You do interviews, it's like, it's easy to batch many people. If they want to include neurodivergent people, you need to review the way you do the interviews, no more interviews, like study cases, exercise cases, different type of approach to hire someone on few days, for example. You have to review the career development. You have to review accommodation, of course, logistics. This is what I mentioned here. You have to review policies. You have to, so the biggest burden, I would say, is on the HR processes side. Yeah. But it's getting there, D and E and Y. But they have a lot of work to do. They are not there yet. I think they are still on sustainability at this stage. Policy. Can you tell me more about it? Policy.
Yeah,
what do you
covered it. No, you said, I'm saying, well, I work in a school and we obviously have huge DIE for our kids because we have learning development departments and special educational needs departments. When it comes to my colleagues, there's no conversation at all about neurodivergency. And obviously policy the will be, from an HR perspective, at my particular school, will be probably the starting point, and where's the legal framework? What's the obligation to the workplace out there? The workforce out there. I know nothing about it, but it seems like a really interesting place to be in. And as an in-house coach, how I help my colleagues in their space as a neurodivergent too. So that's why I put policy in there, seeing what you thought about it.
Yeah. So sorry, guys, I take you with me. I have someone that keep on ringing since half an hour. I hope it's not an emergency. Hold on, can you just put it here somewhere? Yes. Sorry, guys. So sorry. Yes. Yeah. So sorry, guys. Thank you. So I think honestly, meeting so many people in corporates and schools, Steve, it's very early stage. People are starting to have awareness about what is neurodivergent. But it's still very early. It's just out of curiosity. They want to understand. You have a lot of misunderstanding for people. They think neurodivergent is basically physical disability and mental disability. So it goes really deep, right? Yes, they need there is a lot of misconception where they think about, we need to accommodate physically the person. We need to accommodate, how can we talk with them? I said, you can talk with them normally. So yeah, there is, I'd say, and also I think the influence of social media is not helping at all. Many people are playing with this neurodivergent concept. Not everyone is effectively diagnosed ADHD or dyslexic, and that influences a lot, because nowadays the main info channel is through social media. Is not in the books, is not in the website. Is people just whatever they have time, they will go and screen. So you make your picture about this topic depending on the source you follow, right? And a lot of misconception, a lot of misleading information is flooding the social media. I just think about TikTok, I think about Instagram. So I think, it's a lot of work to do around awareness, a lot of work to do around what it takes to change and shift mindset. And maybe slow. And I think also, like, for example, I work with some workplaces, like corporates. Management will tell you, what's in for me? Why do you want me to hire neurodivergent? What they will bring? What is the value added? Can you quantify it for me? And then when you show them, like, for example, I have some numbers, I didn't have time to share them in the presentation. But for example, when you know that autistic people are up 40% better at problem solving, you have overall neurodiverse people are 30% more productive than average employee. And for example, overall neurodivergent people will bring up to 20% additional revenue just led by innovation from the neurodivergent people. When you talk like this, people might start to realize, what it takes maybe, and maybe we should consider hiring, and maybe we should consider accommodating, and maybe we should start shifting mindset about this. Did that answer your question? I went back, sorry.
Yeah, and it's making me really question why, if you've got a neurodivergent teacher, what value they could bring into the classroom to the children in their group, because the empathy level will be maybe higher rather than an imposed, let's say, you have a professional development session on ADHD and attentive and autism and I don't know, dyslexia, and then you try and implement that in your lesson planning. But maybe if you have a neurodivergency, you're going to be more empathetic in that space.
Yes. Many neurodivergent people display more empathy. It's a different level. And I think if you hire like more teacher in the school, I just take the school place, for example, having neurodivergent teacher will help on another level because they will connect differently with other neurodivergent children. They will see, how to accommodate them. They will see how to talk to them, how to approach them, how to communicate with them. Yeah,
and they may have even entered education because of their bad experiences as a student, and they feel that they need to make some change. So they're a really quality colleague to hire.
And definitely, school is the first place, right? Is the school prepare you for society?
Yeah.
School is a mini society that prepares you for society afterward. So if you have more neurodivergent at the earliest stage of our life, like teachers, nurses, they will help to shift mindset. They will help to understand. They will help to accommodate. And this is what we need. Again, same is lame. If we expect everyone to just fit and belong like that, it's going to be terrific for many people.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it just seems to make the people's lives easier when they go with, we're just going to kind of just have this cookie cut child or cookie cut teacher or cookie cut leader running our schools. It just seems to fit a particular model, but it isn't a true reflection of what's happening in society. So why are we doing it in schools?
So Jacqueline, you mentioned perhaps practice DEIB program, which open up the space for neurodivergent. Yes, indeed. That would be great. It's really, it's really a new field. You have many people starting to work on this. I didn't see many of those big consulting companies. They start touching base on this, but again, they put processes and frameworks that just fit the neurotypical needs again. So not a lot of work in there. But even the research is a very new field. You have some research people, some good people that are in the landscape, and they are trying to explore new ways of working, new ways of educating like the children. So yeah, it's moving. It's a new field. It's moving. It will grow. And honestly, I work with many families. I am a bit horrified by the amount of children that will be different in the next coming generation, and they will be different. So society will have to accommodate them anyway. So yeah. Any other question? Thought? Welcome, Jacqueline. So thank you very much, Erwin. Thank you very much, Tika, Frank, Jacqueline.
I have a quick question. Thanks, Noor, for this. How do we become, if somebody wants to become a neurodivergent coach, are there any specialty programs, or how does one become them?
Okay, so why I call myself neurodivergent coach? Because I am equipped also, I did a lot of trainings and certification to help also autistic dyslexic, dyscalculia, and ADHD. Right now, I didn't see any certification covering all of them, but I can recommend you some that you can follow because it's specific, right? Like each condition is very different. They have some commonalities they share, but the overall journey is really different. But I'm happy to share with you some good certifications, good diploma that you can have, and it would be very wonderful. I mean, the growing community on this field it would be really helpful, and people need coaches on this. Many people I do see and meet, they don't want to go the medical route on this topic because the medical route is really scary. Basically, the people will just ask you to take meds and will say goodbye, see you in 6 weeks for follow-ups, and then you have to deal with your meds, basically. And people they are exploring for holistic approach to their condition. They want to kind of having a buddy that helps them understand themselves, to have their own toolkit that travel with them throughout their journey. This condition will not be fixed. Most of them will never be fixed, basically. If they sell you meds, it's just kind of to make you fit in the society during short time span or long time span. That's it. But yeah, I'm happy to share with you some sources. Just reach out to me. I put again my email here, and I'm happy to. We can even have a call, and I discuss with you what fits you best. Any other questions? I think we can wrap up, Fong.